You know, it's getting kind of ridiculous that these movies can come out when I didn't even realize they were in development. Almost 1 entire year ago, I made a video on a movie called Beautiful Disaster. It was originally a self-published novel that gained enough notoriety to get the attention of the studio working on all the Wattpad projects like After. There's literally a character in Beautiful Disaster watching After.
Fuck you!
How could he do that to Tessa?
And it is not good. And at the end of that movie, we saw that the main two characters got married in a wild little Vegas trip, and somehow they decided to turn those post-credit Polaroids into an entire movie. I will say that this movie was based on a novella, a 2.5 novel, but after reading that novella, there is absolutely nothing in common between the two other than the people getting married. It really seems like the studio's enjoying making vacation movies because that's literally what they turned After Everything into, because that whole series was supposed to end with the 4th movie, and then like halfway through filming that one, they were like, why not make another? If you haven't seen my video on that one, I would strongly recommend it because they could not get the main actress back. So some interesting choices there, but that's kind of just what this one feels like. They were making the last one and they were like, man, if we go film a movie down in Mexico, that we could all be on vacation. Except this is worse because at least the After series had gotten some degree of wide theatrical distribution for most of the installments at least. Now to refresh on this particular piece of media, Beautiful Disaster follows Abby Abernathy, a card-counting prodigy who escaped her gambling-addicted father only to get swept up in Travis, the bad boy underground fighter, played by Dylan Sprouse. If you were wondering what happened to fucking Trevor in the After series, it seems like they kind of just shuffled him over somewhere else. And Abby and Travis feel very similar to Tessa and Hardin, but I will at least give the credit where it's due. Beautiful Disaster did come first as a book series, and the Beautiful Disaster story is like way more action-packed at its core compared to the After series, because Abby's dad ends up popping back up needing her help to win $100,000 or this mob guy is gonna kill him, only for it to be this multi-stage plan between the two of them to like manipulate her into winning a bunch of money so that he can just like run away from her all over again. So in the end, she makes off with the $100,000, and then she and Travis celebrate by getting married in Vegas 3 months after they started dating. So this movie pretty much picks up right after that wild Vegas night. And it is very not good and very unnecessary. I assumed that there was nothing interesting happening in the movie because the novella wasn't interesting, but they just freeballed this shit. They could have done whatever they wanted, and what they wanted was bad. I wasn't expecting it to be good because the first movie also sucked, but this is just a whole other level, and somehow Abby makes significantly worse decisions than Tessa, and she is just so much more annoying. At this point, I'm just highly disappointed in Roger Combo. Like, he's been responsible for some real shit over the years, but he kind of made the ideal shit show sensual teen drama originally based on a book with Cruel Intentions. Like the ideal adapted for the modern age based on a classic piece of literature. He's also responsible for some of the shit showiest After movies, the one that really dialed in that perfect meter of drama to ridiculous with the fucking Trevor and the Happy New Year's, bitch! You like that horn? It's the hi-ya every time she hits. It's so good. But other than that, I haven't kept up with him at all. And honestly, even that After movie, after something like Cruel Intentions, felt like such a steep drop off. But now it's like, wow, it can keep getting worse. I don't know anything about what his life is like and how he's ended up here, but he's probably making bag. But yeah, it is just terrible. Again, I'm glad that some people seem to have gotten to film in a very beautiful location, but holy shit, this is bad. And I know it might seem a little bit confusing because some of my main complaints with a lot of these movies and a lot of other movies is they just don't get dumb enough, and they don't commit enough to the shit show. Like, if you're gonna go all in one direction, like, you really have to dive in on it. And there is no denying that this movie is committing to the dumb shit show, but it also just isn't balancing that with enough genuine drama that feels serious to the characters to make any of it at all satisfying. Even American Pie manages to work in some actual heart and life lessons in the raunchy teen comedy that's going on around it. The key is knowing what you want to be and creating the balance. And this isn't supposed to be a raunchy teen comedy series. It's supposed to be one of those new adult romances, the type of thing that has a baked-in demographic from an existing fan base that have expectations that you are not meeting. I only have absolutely no issues with breaking outside that mold of the genre and adding in more comedy or ridiculous moments, because I think they do help, especially if you are going to be presenting such like an abusive, unhealthy relationship. This just went way too far in that direction, and it's just not satisfying at all. Like, they add in a narrator for this one.
This is a story of a couple madly in love. They drove each other crazy.
Amanda immediately knew that she regretted every decision she'd ever made in life to get her to this point.
So yeah, already trouble in paradise very early on, but really, what do we expect here? They fought all the time before they got together. They fought all the time while they were together, so obviously they're gonna fight all the time when they're married, especially when that all takes place over the course of like 3 months. It's really just like Abby loses her virginity and thinks, oh, this one's hot, I guess he'll do. This one forever, please. Maybe a lot of this drama would have been avoided if Abby had just turned to today's sponsor, Lilo, and one of their many luxury adult toys. But sadly, she's a fictional character and she can't take advantage of Lilo and the amazing giveaway we're teaming up for, but you can. That's right, you could just win one of these or get an exclusive discount. Lilo is the luxury brand for pleasure. They're reputable, constantly innovated, and are dedicated to providing you with top-notch quality design so you can feel comfortable exploring your desires whether on your own or with a partner. Among their finest offerings is the Lilo Dot Travel, the travel-sized version of their famed Lilo Dot. And don't think that means it's any less effective. It comes with 8 powerful pleasure settings for all erogenous zones, pinpoint precision, infinite loop technology, and it's fully waterproof. Or maybe the Enigma Wave could be more your speed, with 8 settings of triple stimulation catering to both erogenous zones, wave motion technology, and fully waterproof. The Wave will fit you like a glove with its extra soft premium silicone that feels warm to the touch. And their credibility really speaks for itself with their partnerships with fashion brands like Diesel and Cosmo listed Lilo as the safest bet when looking for adult toys because of their wide range of quality options so you can find what's perfect for you. So make sure to check out Lilo today. Subscribe to their newsletter by using the link below for a chance to win a free toy or the chance at an exclusive discount code. Now, I will touch on the novella at the end, but it is just literally so completely different from what happens in this movie that there is no way or reason to be weaving back and forth. I will just let you know it includes such stellar lines as, I needed to be inside her. My dick was practically reaching out for her, but it was important to take our time. We only got one shot at a wedding night, and I wanted it to be perfect. Why? I guess the one thing I can say is that Travis isn't a selfish lover. He definitely let Abby bring the Lilo to bed. All right, let's dive into the movie with our clearly happy couple who are now somehow in Mexico and not Vegas, where we left them 6 days into marriage, and they're already being counseled by a priest.
For someone who claims they're not a toxic male, you don't do a very good job.
Oh, well.
Wow, nice to know that if everything goes tits up and other opportunities, Dylan will have a long career ahead of him as a SpongeBob impersonator.
Well, Patrick.
But the movie is kind enough to give us a fairly thorough recap of the last installment, almost as if they have no faith that it was memorable enough for people not to need this, which I kind of agree with because there were definitely some things I forgot. Or maybe they were hoping that they could pick up some new viewers. Though I have to imagine that the percentage of people who haven't seen the first one who are watching this has to be like around 5%.
Oh, baby.
Oh, good. The guy who made all the fun jokes last time about After is back. This is serviceable. Oh, no, never mind. He's licking. Ugh. So it brings us back to the morning after the wedding so that we can build up to this counseling session. And for whatever reason, their hotel room TV is playing the pictures of all the wild shit they did the night before, which includes the getting married part, which she doesn't even remember happening, or that she got his name tattooed on her hips. I forgot that she got his name tattooed on her hip. I'm going to say that in the novella, the circumstances around that are even more wild because she was stone cold sober, but that's fine. Let us continue on. So a lot happens that next morning very quick. So they get a call from Benny, who is that gambler dude, gangster, who was manipulating her with the dad, saying that they better show up in his office or else because he wants his 100K.
He's bluffing.
This, of course, just ends up being a regular old hotel staff member that they beat the shit out of, and then it just abruptly cuts to them being dropped off at a helicopter. I feel like there's just an entire scene missing here because it doesn't seem like they got kicked out of the hotel. We were just thrust into some drill sergeant situation, but it becomes very quickly apparent that they are fleeing the country to Mexico for a bit.
Jerry won't be joining us.
Who the fuck is Jerry? They just didn't explain how they got from there to here, which is fine. This movie doesn't need to be any longer. It is sufficiently long enough at an hour and a half. I also have no idea why Shep and Mare are along for the ride, but by the time she realizes that they shouldn't be there, it's too late to bail.
Okay, what about getting back?
That's not my problem.
Yeah, that kind of defeats the fleeing part. Whatever, they take the chance to make this a bit of a honeymoon. So much fun fleeing to a country without a passport. How do you gonna get back?
Travis, we're married. That means that you're stuck with me forever.
Well, that's just what you want to hear. That's the romance. But also, I feel like there has to be entire agencies dedicated to dealing with Vegas drunk wedding annulments or, just a good old-fashioned regular divorce, which might be on the way. We are less than like 20 minutes into our beautiful destination escape and she is already thirsting over another man. But I doubt much will happen to that conflict because that is definitely the priest they were talking to at the beginning. So I'm not even going to mentally concern myself with the potential for a love triangle. But they really set the scene here. You get that overly attentive theatrical host, an awkward sex chat.
Ooga wanna fuck.
Yeah?
Ooga.
Amanda immediately knew that she regretted every decision.
I truly hate them. Actually, I really like Dylan Sprouse, and Travis is nowhere near the worst characters that we've dealt with. I do have a mental list on my mind, and I don't even know if Travis would register, both because these movies are so damn forgettable, but he does not enter the sphere with the likes of people like Hardin Scott and Tedros from The Idol, but I hate them as a unit the most. Truly forgot how much I hated Abby as a character, and it did not take long for that all just to wash over me again. Unsalvageable character. Like, I never thought I'd miss the After series, but a movie like this just makes me miss After We Collided. Hell, movies like this make me miss The Idol.
Stretch that tiny little
But because they don't have condoms, this just leads to the weirdest mutual handjob scene with the most awkward music fucking ever before they decide who cares about the baby risk. Though I must say, at least in the last movie, they were very concerned about condoms. The book itself was not. It distinctly mentioned her doing a mental cycle count and deciding they're good to go, and that is how babies happen. But in this movie, they decide to compromise on the pull-out method with just the tip, the classic strat. But it is literally illustrated with an animated dick ruler. What the fuck is this movie?
You're blocking my escape hatch.
Oh, God. So she launches him out of her vagina like a ping pong ball at a strip club, and hijinks obviously ensue with him trying to find condoms before he gets bombarded with more staff hospitality, and they just have to give up and decide on a nice romantic evening. Ping pong. Oh, no. Can I say that? We're keeping it. Ping pong ball's great. But on this nice romantic first honeymoon dinner, she brings up the pros and cons game for staying married. A full-on point chart, which obviously upsets him. But then he can't even stay engaged with the date and just starts ignoring her for sports, as men do.
Fucking get me, baby!
God, someone is having a great time with the basic animations for this one. They are so proud. I was really hoping that things might get somewhat interesting here. Like, they're on the run from a literal mobster. I know the second book is from Travis's perspective, and I thought, maybe they're gonna explore some drama and emotional issues there for us to work with, but no. This is the best they could muster for an adequate runtime. But he makes up for it in the best possible way. Singing in a mariachi band. Man, you wish you were Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You. Then, just when I thought some real conflict was going to arise from them not really knowing each other during a late night drinking game,
I've always planned on living in Paris.
How am I gonna pursue criminal justice living in Paris?
that just gets skipped past. Not an issue at all. Just some pool sex and stressing about how it would be horrible if they got an annulment, because couples usually don't survive them. Yeah, man, no shit. Look at the progression of your relationship. You are the statistic in this case. And while the whole totally conflicting life goals doesn't seem to be an issue, her watching Miguel juggle certainly is.
Those are good grapes, huh?
I will say, she was awfully close with this dude that she doesn't know is a priest yet, and we as viewers know she thinks is like highly attractive. He got the full, damn, who is that eye? But Travis's reaction, totally normal. Yeah, just asserts his dominance the old-fashioned way. Dick exposure. At least he didn't pee on her to mark his property. Yet. And this whole fight only escalates when they argue their way down to the beach, which is apparently semi-nude, and these two girls just instantly start showing Travis their titties. Which then just makes her take off her own top, which is like, wait, what kind of counter is that to this situation? Like, can she even really be mad at him now? And then it just turns into the most ridiculous animated scene where all the local dudes are skeezing on her, which sets Travis into a literal animated rage. He just starts fighting people. What the fuck is this movie? I hope they actually paid someone to to do this. Look, the first movie wasn't good and definitely had some like goofy moments, but it wasn't this far gone. So he beats a bunch of people up, she punches someone out, they smile at each other because they're just so damn cute with their mutual violence before getting arrested. Now, normally being arrested in a foreign country is a huge deal, and add in the fact that they don't have passports, this could go very bad. This should go very bad. But no, they just get to post bail and leave. It's like fucking nothing, barely an inconvenience. But them getting arrested put them on a database so Benny knows exactly where they are.
Her stripper name is Pocahontas. She needs to wear the headdress.
Why? What the fuck? What the fuck is this movie, man? But where they are in Mexico is apparently where he and Darius fell in love. Like, too bad Darius is fed up with you working all the time and bails. Yeah, it must be so hard just to have to sit around and do nothing all day while someone else makes all your money, Darius. There is simultaneously so much and so little going on with this movie. So Abby and Travis get back from jail and then she just runs off into the night.
Maybe don't show your
do not say the T word. If you say the T word, I am jumping out of this car, Travis, and out of your life.
Titties, titties, titties,
Oh,
titties,
fuck you,
titties,
Travis,
titties,
man.
titties.
And it is then very much implied that these guys were going to assault her just for running by before thankfully Miguel shows up to save the day. Ooh, drama. But I guess Miguel used to be really wealthy here. I'm guessing his dad was involved in some kind of like drug stuff. So the hotel house where they're staying at actually used to be his, but then the government seized it after his dad died.
And then one day I got the calling.
The calling? Oh.
Priest. In training.
Ooh, he's only in training, still time to ruin his life, girl. And while they're off doing that, Mare and Travis finally have their little back and forth where she finally says all the things that we're thinking.
And I think that getting married at 19 is the dumbest shit in the world.
Don't worry, they're not gonna secretly smash. It's not like that. And then Shep kind of makes sure of that and ruins his own relationship.
I'm just teasing you.
So now Mare's pissed at him too. And with Miguel no longer an option, it's back to Travis.
Something tells me that this marriage is worth fighting for.
Where, Miguel? Where do you see a marriage worth fighting for? Think you can get a 2-for-1 conversion here? But in attempts to understand each other better, they decide it's time for a bachelor party. Just bachelor though. No one else is getting flown in for Abby.
By the way, we got married. Abby, dipshit.
If your own siblings could not guess who you were married to, you probably shouldn't be married. And them showing up just leads to this full dumb montage of local hotties being awestruck by these absolutely mid-American dudes. Like, okay, they're not ugly, but really full open mouth reactions on the beach. Truly a movie of, we have no content, so here you go, I guess. Like, it's not quite as bad as 365 that has like multiple music video and car commercials throughout them, but it's not great. They also include a rooster fighting scene, which just feels really unnecessary. Like, they don't show it happen, but you hear it die and then you see the body, but then that leads to Shep freeing the winner, which we will get back to, but it's fine. They just kind of go off and they're doing the little spa day, and then it's finally pointed out to Abby that it's really weird that she's not having a proper bachelorette party, or at least a day.
You cannot disrespect or demean the power of the pussy.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they just get commandeered into this power mom's party, and instead of a nice relaxing spa day, they end up at a wrestling ring asking audience members to fight this seemingly child luchadora that I hope and assume is not actually a child. But Abby is so concerned about this person getting beat up that she volunteers and is clearly gonna have her ass kicked. Was not expecting the costume though.
Meow.
Why? Yep, there she goes. Oh no, is Travis gonna show up and beat up a lady? Yep, and there he is.
Tell me that's not Abby.
It's definitely Abby.
She's favoring her right knee. Go for her knee. What are you doing?
Nothing. Muy guapo.
She's trying to fuck you.
What the fuck? I hope to hell that's not a child. What the fuck? This is the type of movie that feels like a reunion to like a really beloved franchise that like only the Uber fans are really gonna be into, but like no one cares about these people. Sorry, I'm sure there's a lot of book fans who do, but they seem so fundamentally different from the book that I can't imagine caring about them here. And while all that is happening, Shep gets attacked by the rooster he saved, and they take it a weird step further by having his mom call to say his grandmother just wanted to talk to him before they pulled a plug on her in hospice.
Shep, it's Granny. I just wanted to tell you
Okay, they would have let her finish her sentence. Jesus Christ, what is this movie? Bad is what it is. And he just wakes up the next morning to a bunch of like threatening bully wall art that the rooster somehow... It's some. But finally, Benny shows up, so maybe we can get something interesting to happen, but no, actually, not at all. He's only concerned with trying to get back with his love Darius, so like, why did you even come to Mexico? You should chase him down stateside, dude. This is all just so fucking stupid, and it's not even fun stupid. What is wrong with you? And the you in this situation is everybody who's involved with the creative ideas of this movie. But it cuts back to the bachelor party that has really just turned into an excuse for the brothers trying to smash, and the girls from the beach are there and just throwing themselves at Travis.
I learned a lot of things fast. Don't you want to have some fun?
Oh god, like I get that there are women like this out here, but this just feels like weird fantasy fulfillment. Very weird fantasy fulfillment. And he does manage to escape them because like even if he was single, these are the most annoying fucking women on the planet, but they stole his phone. I swear to god, if they call her to make her think that he's cheating like fucking high schoolers, the logical thing here is that they'd be trolling for money and they just use his phone to transfer out whatever's on his account, because this is just fucking stupid and weird and annoying. The actually makes me want to combust with rage. The more I think about it, the more I want to like smash something. You know, like sometimes people get like cuteness aggression. I think that's just aggression. I want to break something so bad right now. But then things get even weirder on Abby's end because the woman who's been guiding them around and getting them drunk is Parker's mother. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't remember who Parker is? That's fully acceptable. He was the guy from the first movie that she thought she should be dating because he wants to be a doctor, but then didn't because he's boring.
You should put some ice on your balls.
You should put some ice on my balls.
But he is in that room for some reason on his mom's midlife crisis vacation. What the fuck?
Travis!
Oh god, well I didn't have to wait long for that prediction to come through. It's so fucking annoying. So now she thinks that Travis cheated on her or something, so she sneaks into the room to take creepy pictures with Parker while he's sleeping. And for some reason she put the lucha mask back on? God, I hate her so much. Like Travis has problems, but Abby fucking sucks. And then somehow the next morning Travis has his phone back and uses it to track Abby when she doesn't answer his phone calls right back to Parker's room. She didn't leave? Fucking Christ, to the streets with her. But before Travis can show up, she starts giving Parker a sleep handy while making kitty noises and he's making dog one. You know what? You didn't want to be with him because you thought he was boring, but you are just as boring as him and you both make weird sex sleep noises, so match made in heaven in my book. Also, based on the title of this movie and Travis being the bad boy, I thought we were gonna have like a flip up on some of the Panic at the Disco lyrics for Travis to be the one fucking around, but we can just go classic. I chimed in with a the poor groom's bride is a whore. Whether she's conscious or not, she actually cheated on Travis. And she's assaulted Parker. Like, obviously she's not consciously doing it, but she should never have been in that bed. She did consciously get in that bed with him, which is some form of harassment. And that's about when they get back to the counseling session with Miguel, who still for some reason thinks that they're just a great couple. Must be a pre-Henry view on divorce type priest.
You know, I don't really think I have any fight left.
Bitch, you're the one that fucked up. I really just can't get invested in this emotional marriage counseling when they've been together for 3 months. Look, Travis sucks in a lot of ways. I'm not trying to take away from his faults. I just legitimately think she is the worst. So she wanders off and realizes that Benny's in town. And instead of running, she actually hunts him down and attacks, and that was a super good tactic in my opinion, except, you know, he's not a threat right now, as we already know.
It's loud what you think!
How? Yeah, they just end up having a little heart-to-heart about their wild criminal history together and his manipulation of her and her father.
Fucked up my relationship with my dad.
Okay, kiddo, I think your dad kind of ran the charge on that one. Pretty sure he was the one who approached Benny with the plan to manipulate you into making them a bunch of money. You know, a good parent would not have pulled that kind of shit even if someone else was trying to like hold them over the coals for it. Then the boys have a heart-to-heart with Travis as if any of this shit even matters.
Travis, do you love her? Then go and get her, dude.
Like, they're really trying to build up this whole, like, oh my god, they just need to see the power of their love. And I'm just like, no, they should probably break up.
I'm about to be a divorcee at 19.
Yeah, that would be the smart thing, Abby. Just get that annulment, forget it ever happened. But Benny here is like, no, you're so dumb. What you guys have is magic.
What? And the passion you two have? You think you can buy that on Amazon? You cannot.
Fucking where? There is literally not a drop of chemistry in this entire movie. Even if they're trying to just be like, oh, it's sexual chemistry, sexual chemistry. I disagree. I don't think they have that either. But even if they did, that is not a overall indicator of long-term compatibility. And if we're gonna go that route, her and Parker have the better weird sexual chemistry. Whatever, my thoughts obviously don't matter because they kiss and make up and it swirls into a proper wedding ceremony and everyone's happy, even Benny.
I've never tried Mexican.
I think that you would find it most appealing.
No, stop. What is this shit? So yeah, obviously they stay together, and I'm just sure it's gonna be such a long and happy marriage.
As long as they don't kill each other.
You joke, senseless narrator, but yeah. So that's the movie, and it is dumb as hell and somehow still boring as hell for all of the random shit that's happening in it, and I'm a little bit upset that it exists. Also, it's been a long time since scenes in a movie have frustrated me so much that it actually makes me want to like break things, but those two girls. Whew. And like I mentioned, the novella, completely different. If you forgot, because I kind of did, in the first book, there's actually a huge fire at one of Travis's underground fights in some weird building. They almost die, and then a lot of people actually do die, and I guess that night, Abby asks Travis to marry her, and they rush right off to Vegas. And not just because she's trying to jump into something positive to just like wash away all of the like negative emotions of the tragedy and her like gambling spirit always needing to jump to the next thing. No, it is because she thinks that Travis could be arrested for being involved in the event itself as the main fighter, but thinks that if the cops know that they had been planning to go to Vegas that night to be married, there's just no way that he could have been involved. He wouldn't have gone there ahead of time, and they definitely wouldn't have gone to Vegas after a fire. Even though no cop would actually believe that, because cops love being like, look, you know, it's unreasonable, but like, I think you had plenty of time to be at the fight before you got on the plane. You had plenty of time. You know, people were reporting that you kind of smelled like smoke on the plane. But yeah, she just gets one of his brothers to go along with it and doesn't tell Travis till like way later, and somehow the plan works. He never goes to jail, but once he finds out, he ends up feeling so guilty, probably because he actually cares about criminal justice and actually cares that he feels responsible for some of this, but he won't turn himself in because they've convinced him that if he does, they'll be in trouble for covering it up. So he has just got to live with this guilt for the rest of his life because of her actions. I really wish they would have gone in on that multi-layered betrayal, because for one, she lied about wanting to marry him just as a cover-up thing, and then two, lied to keep him out of jail. But no, they don't go through that at all. They just handle all this in like a paragraph just to fill us in on like what was going on after the wedding, which I guess I get. I totally understand that they needed to spend a chunk of the movie explaining how he was buying Converse and was so proud that he was now didn't even care that the clerk was hitting on him. It also wasn't until the book that I realized that he didn't call her pigeon one time in this movie, I don't think. And that was his whole thing in the first book and movie. Like the book actually, this novella actually has an entire section explaining why he calls her pigeon. It's a dove. They're really fucking smart. They're loyal and they mate for life. That first time I saw you in the circle, I knew what you were. Say it. Pigeon. Under the buttoned up cardigan and the blood, you weren't going to fall for my shit. You were gonna make me earn it. Oh, it's so dumb. And honestly, you know, like earning trust isn't necessarily a trait I relate to pigeons. They're just skirting around feet and cars with no care for their own self-preservation. Literally the only area where these two pieces of media are remotely similar is that the novella ends with them on a delayed honeymoon, but not in Mexico, in I think St. Thomas, where they do then end up redoing their ceremony with more people around, and that is the end of this movie. So that's where our overlap is, you know, so beautiful. No, you don't even deserve the unintended pun of your stupid title. But yeah, that's a beautiful wedding, which it was not at all. I really hated this, and I'm upset that multiple of you little gremlins let me know it existed, because it had somehow completely flown over my radar, under my radar, and over my head. I'm just joking. Thank you very much for letting me know it existed. But yeah, that's it for this one. I'm assuming that this doesn't have quite as much of the backing and follow-up to continue on. I don't even know where they'd go. I hope to hell that there's nothing else after this. Please let there not be anything after this. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. If you want to know about a lot of movies coming out this year that I'm actually super excited about, make sure to check out my last little video there. There's a lot of really cool movies I'm very excited for in there, and then some like really weird ones like Sasquatch Sunset, which was in fact just shitting and pissing Becoming the movie, but with heart at the end. I also have an entire full breakdown on Argyle now that that is officially on like a free streaming thing. So I break down all the meta twists and the wild stuff going on with like the actual author and who people thought the actual author of the book was. Had a lot of fun with that. But thanks again so much for watching. Thanks as always to my Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like on the video if you're into that kind of thing. All my social medias are listed down below as well. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm mostly okay, and we'll catch you all later.